Hey guys, Emily here. Today I'm going to be talking with you about fear foods. So these are items that would be defined as something that would give you anxiety to be around or to think about or to even have in your own kitchen. So this can also stem from maybe a very restrictive diet where you were told that this food is off limits or that this food will lead to weight gain. Anything around that contributed to this fear or anxiety with this item. We have a plethora of resources these days telling us which foods are good or bad, or labeling these foods off limits. This makes us back into a corner with our eating, and then we begin questioning what we should or should not be eating. We get this list in our heads, whether we realize it or not, of things that have negative connotations associated with them versus things that have positive connotations associated with them. When it comes down to it, every item that we consume contains a certain amount of macronutrients. Macronutrients, or macros for short, are proteins, carbs, and fats. So proteins contain 4 calories per gram, carbs contain 4 calories per gram, and fats contain 9 calories per gram. So all 3 of these are in different types of foods in different amounts. On a very basic level, your energy balance is based on calories in versus calories out. That being said, the controversy over which foods are good or bad can be eliminated if you're intaking your recommended macro ratios. Not to say you should incorporate all those foods that you've cut out for the past 3 years in one day, because chances are you're going to overindulge in them and only feed that fear more. So instead, I'm going to give you a step-by-step process on how to overcome those fear foods. So step 1, write down your list of fear foods or the items that cause you anxiety to be around. This could be because of a fear of overindulging, or perhaps the idea that someone told you that it would lead to weight gain. Whatever that reason is, if you have an anxiety towards a certain food item, write that down on your list. I want you to research and write down the macros for each food item on your list. This will help you later on whenever you're trying to figure out how to fit them into your macros. Next, I want you to acknowledge that each of these foods can fit into a balanced intake. It's just a matter of picking and choosing where and how to allocate those macros. Step 2, set a date that you plan to overcome that fear food. It's good to space this out between 2 to 3 weeks apart so that you're not trying to fit everything in 1 week. If you try to do it all at once, you're likely going to be overwhelmed with it. Along with that, we are creatures of habit. Therefore, we want to continue to have our structure and routine. The best way to do that is to only do one at a time. Step 3, the day you plan to add that fear food back in, make sure that you figure out how you're going to fit it into your macros best. So perhaps if you are one to plan your meals out the night before, you will navigate through your macro tracker, and based off the macros on that item, you will then try to match it with one that is similar on your already planned out foods or your normal routine of foods. Let's say you decided to add in nut butter. This is a common fear food for a lot of people. Let's say we're only going to do 1 tablespoon of this. So that would be 8 grams of fat, 3.5 grams of carb, and 3 grams of protein. So then I would look at my macro tracker, and then I would make that swap for that 1 tablespoon of nut butter, and then I would swap it out for whichever item I also have in my meals usually, which maybe is a slice of avocado or whatever that would be. So then you'll make your little swap. Now, this means you'd also have to go and purchase a jar of peanut butter, which could cause even more anxiety for some people. This leads into step 4. Decide how you will buy this item in an individual serving size or in bulk. For example, buying it in one of these little packets that only have 1 or 2 servings can be a much more maintainable way to bring this back into your life. And maybe you do that with all your items. Maybe you get it in single serving sizes to start out with, and then as you become more comfortable with that food group being around, then you can go ahead and start buying it in bulk again. So with other fear foods such as pizza, cereal, trail mix, chips, all those types of things, you can also do individual serving sizes as well. For ice cream, you can do little individual pint sizes, and you can start with a more macro-friendly one, such as an Arctic Zero. For trail mixes, you can start with a single serving size, or you can even go and use the bulk section at the store and just get a little bit into your bag and weigh it out. Once you get home, you can divide that up into different serving sizes as well by using your scale and labeling bags or containers. Now, the reason why I'm suggesting to add in these foods back into your diet is not because I think everybody should just be eating junk food all day long. Instead, it's quite the opposite. It's so that you can navigate better whenever you have a special event coming up or whenever you do have a craving. You don't feel like you just need to overindulge in that item. Know that no matter what, you're able to fit this into your macro ratios every single day if you wanted to. All that being said, A balanced intake and flexible diet does not mean you need to be eating Snicker bars all day long, but it does mean that you can pick and choose which foods that you want to have in your meals, as long as you're intaking what your body needs on a macro level. Step 5. Once you've overcome all of these temptations to overindulge in certain food items, then determine whether or not it's worth to keep in your diet. This is the process of becoming empowered over your meals and not imprisoned by them. As you can see, a balanced intake will look different for each person, but living in fear of foods is not part of it. The ultimate concept behind this approach is to fuel your body with the macro ratios it needs while being able to have the freedom and flexibility to enjoy all the foods you love. Make sure you are always being mindful whenever you are consuming these items and whenever you are purchasing them. If it's something that you're still overindulging in from time to time, take a couple steps back, get it out of the house for a little bit, and then ease your way back into it again. If you're constantly restricting foods and labeling them as bad or off limits, the chances are you're going to be more tempted to overindulge in them the next time a special occasion occurs. It's far better to allow yourself to have a treat here and there than it is to restrict and lead yourself into an overindulging scenario. So all that being said, thank you for watching. I look forward to hearing how you've overcome your fear food. That's all for now.